Hello and welcome to the FGandRZ podcast. I'm your host, RZ or Aaron, and my co-host, FG or Luke. This is... Oh, say hello.
Yo.
This is an exclusive Game of Thrones episode. This one's episode 2. Do you know the name of this one?
No.
I actually don't either. I don't know the name of this one at all. Anywho, this is a play-by-play, so we just talk about everything that basically happens in this episode. So it basically started off extremely intense from the get-go. I think the whole of this, not the whole of the episode, but most of the episode was really intense for me. Was you the same?
I thought it was very atmospheric. I don't know about intense.
At the very start, so it starts in the room where they do all the discussions in Winterfell. Jaime's literally standing in the dead center of the room, confronted by Daenerys, Snow, and his sister Sansa, and you've got Daenerys basically saying this guy's scum. Sansa's pretty much on the same level as Daenerys, and Snow's just, being Snow, you know what I mean? He's just chilling as all Snow does. You got Jaime's basically pleading that he wants to fight. But he does have some fair points. He's like, our houses were against each other. I don't regret anything I've done. That's basically who I am. I will live with that kind of my whole life. Daenerys is very adamant that she wants him pretty much on the street. And then you have Tyrion, who pleads for him. And he's basically just like, this guy is my brother. He knows he's coming here basically to put his head on the line for you. He pretty much knows that you could kill him right now if you wanted to. And he's here still to say he wants to fight for you. I thought that was cool of Tyrion. I thought that was pretty nice of him. What do you think?
Yeah.
Nice. And then you have Brienne, who comes out and she basically says, I've been with this man. I've been with Jaime before. He's a good man. He's got a decent heart. And she kind of backs him, and then that kind of turns Sansa to be like, you know what, if you're saying it's all good, I'm saying it's all good. And she basically says that she don't mind him fighting, sort of thing. Daenerys then heads over to kind of Snow to be like, well, what do you think, Snow? Snow basically hits her with the, we need every man here to fight. And Daenerys is like, okay, I'm practically outnumbered here. She looks a bit upset that Snow didn't back her, but she's like, whatever. Give this man a sword, not a shield. And then your boy gives him a sword. And then that's basically it. Daenerys then walks out of the room. Where does Snow go at that point?
He walks out the room as well.
Not with Daenerys, though, does he? He literally bows from Daenerys at every point in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then it cuts over to Daenerys and Tyrion. She's basically saying that he's going to be sacked soon if he don't step up his game. And then he's kind of just like, okay, that's really unlucky. And then we go to the blacksmithing area, where Arya's stalking the young apprentice boy. And then she heads over. I would have thought there's maybe he's not into Arya as much as she kind of thinks, but I'd have thought he would have made that weapon pretty much straight away if she asked for it.
Nah, he doesn't think she's a fighter.
Okay.
He doesn't know how skilled Arya is. That's the whole point of the scene with the knives, when she's throwing the knives at the wall, and then he makes it immediately after she does that. She kind of demonstrates his skills.
Okay. I was thinking, because if he had a little crush or a little something for her, he'd probably, be like, all right, I'll just make her a weapon, sort of thing. But I guess, no, he's doing the right thing by, if he doesn't think she's a skilled warrior, he obviously is going to make weapons for skilled warriors over her. She basically shows a crap by throwing knives at a wall from mission away, and it was It was a perfect landing on every single knife. Pretty decent scene. She bowls off like, "Go make me my blade." He's like, "I'm so sorry," and he basically makes her the sword. Skip over to Bran chilling by what's that tree called? They did say the name of the tree.
And we're just gonna keep calling the tree Winterfell. It doesn't really matter.
So she goes over to he is at the tree of Winterfell. Jaime comes over and he's like, I'm sorry for what I did to you. Bran is kind of just like, don't care. And it's like, okay. I kind of felt this was kind of like weirdly funny, because like Jaime like was very apologetic and Bran just didn't seem interested really at all.
Well, it's because Bran isn't. Well, I mean, Bran isn't really Bran, is he? Like
that's what I mean.
Really care. It's like he doesn't feel emotion or anything, so he doesn't really give a crap about the past. And like he said, like it just helped further bring Jaime to where he is now, so it doesn't really bother him.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because you know when Jaime had like a kind of like, I don't know, reaction to it when he was like, "I'm not Bran anymore." He's like, "Well, who are you?" sort of thing. Like,
yeah.
like, "Oh, you changed your name or some shit." Like I'm pretty sure he wasn't expecting him to, you know, come out with "I'm the three-eyed raven" sort of thing, and he was just like, "Okay, that you've changed your game attack basically."
Pretty much, yeah.
That was pretty decent. Then I can't even remember what happens after that. Oh, so Tyrion and then Jaime are talking. They basically talk about Cersei. Kind of nice conversation between Tyrion and Jaime here. Jaime's basically telling Tyrion, you know, "Oh, Cersei kind of like she kind of manipulated me," and then Tyrion was kind of like, "No, she didn't really manipulate her. You knew she was a monster, yet you carried on with what her plans were." And it was like, yeah, you know what? He's got a fair point there. Like, he actually has a fair point. So from the conversation with Tyrion, he then moves on to having Jaime and Brienne have a small conversation. They put a lot of like growth on their their bond together in this episode, which makes me think in the next episode Jaime or her is gonna die.
Well, Brienne and Jaime's bond.
Yeah, like they emphasized it like a lot in this episode. Like, I don't think the episode was like based around them, but it was a very nice like build of them in character together. It seems very likely that either one might die next episode.
So I mean, obviously it's possible, right? But I think there was more just a focus on their relationship, since you haven't really seen them together since like maybe season 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure which season it was, but you haven't really seen those two characters together since season 2 or 3. And then ever since, any times you've ever seen them on screen, they haven't really been able to have a conversation, because it's always been like they've just been present and they haven't really been able to have a conversation with one another. Whereas this is kind of the reunion scene for those two characters. So yeah, it's obviously possible that one of them could die, but I think primarily it was just about extending that bond that the two characters initially built in the early season.
Yeah, they
For
do.
Me, that's what I thought anyway.
Yeah. It kind of they were kind of nailing and coughing kind of a lot of like characters together kind of thing. They very much symbolize like this might be the last time you see these two characters talk, and they've done that with a fair few characters coming close together.
Well, it's why I really like the episode. Like, it was a very atmospheric episode. Like, it definitely feels like a pre-battle episode. You know what I mean? Where everyone's getting off of their chest what they need to, because it could be their last time they see that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So basically Jaime says he wants to fight in her like squad sort of thing, and she's like, yep, sure, that's fine. It cuts over to Daenerys. I can't remember that dude's name. Jorah?
Oh, so Jorah.
Yeah, he comes in. He's basically like, I was once your hand. I'm telling you, everyone
But
makes.
no. He wasn't the hand, was he? He was just like open to the position of it. That was This is the scene right when he's talking to Daenerys and trying to get her to forgive Tyrion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that scene a lot.
Yeah, and she was basically like, you know, you want me to forgive him? He's like, yeah. Everyone makes mistakes. I've made a lot of them. You know, everyone makes these mistakes, and we all, you know, need to come together, and you need to trust Tyrion, which kind of changes her opinion on Tyrion in a later scene anyway. It makes Tyrion feel a bit more part of a team, I would think, than kind of they have like an awkward Tyrion's got like Tyrion wants a plan and then she's got her plan, and instead of like them working together, they at the moment, well, for a few times now, them two haven't clashed and seen eye to eye sort of thing. But that's why Tyrion's supposed to be like an advisor for her. He's supposed to try and keep her, like he's supposed to try and support her, but they keep having like a clash in path they want to go down.
Yeah, it's ever since he made the mistake, right, when they was at I do not remember what the place is called. It was when they first sailed over to Westeros, and he'd already proved himself the way he handled the slave situation with the slavers, right?
Yeah.
That was, I think, the season before. And in the season right after, when they came over and they was planning to take over Westeros, every kind of battle decision he made was well, it didn't really work, right? Like he wanted to take Castle Rock, and then he told her that would be the right idea, not to use her dragons or anything like that, and to just use the Unsullied to take Castle Rock, and use her fleet to take it. And then obviously he got outmaneuvered. Jaime went to High Garden, took High Garden, and then ever since then, like Daenerys is kind of, because he never messed up before, and like he was always like seen as the smartest man in the room, right? She always was confusing his mistakes with treachery or just outright really bad mistakes. She was losing a lot of faith in him, which is why I really like that scene with Jorah and Daenerys, just because, yeah, like you said, the two were starting to like fall apart a bit more, where Tyrion was making mistakes, but the mistakes were emphasized a lot more because the mistakes were against his own family. So she was starting to really doubt him and his ability, and whether or not he actually believed in her to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think it was a really cool scene having a character that really, really like wants, pretty much worships the ground that Daenerys walks on. Stick up for Tyrion, defend him, say that like no, even though I want the job, he's the right man for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a good decision. Like it was a good moment for Jorah as well, to like kind of show that like he's better at this than me, and I just want you to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. After that scene, we have Daenerys goes through to Sansa. I think like a library. I couldn't really get the scene of this place.
Yeah,
it was kind of like a library. Yeah. Daenerys and Sansa talk. Sansa's extremely quite stuck up, I think. Like, I don't know. It kind
I really liked Sansa in this scene. I thought like this scene, when I watched it, I was like, oh, Sansa's actually becoming a good character now.
See, at the very start, I was like, she's quite stuck up. Then she kind of mellowed down, and then she got really sharp towards the end, and I was like, oh. And every time they do it twice here, every time a bit of tension comes into the room, something happens to make it not be able to finish. So basically,
I know what you mean.
So basically, Sansa and Daenerys are talking. She basically says, you know, Snow loves you, and he could have he's basically could be making a mistake, and he's just doing this out of love. She kind of flips it on her and says, well, my objective was the Iron Throne, and that's all I've ever wanted, and now I'm fighting Snow's battle for him, so who really is doing the more out of love?
The manipulator.
Yeah. She basically says to her that she loves Snow. Sansa then gets like quite a little glow on her. She's kind of quite happy, and then she asks the big question, well, what happens to Winterfell? Is it winter? Is it she goes, what happens to the north? Because we basically they don't get ruled by
No. So they obviously used to support Robert and the Lannisters. They used to work for them. And then obviously with everything that happened in the betrayal of the Lannisters, the North, once they all rallied again, they vowed never to like bow to any other king bar the king in the North. So that's where Sansa's kind of going with this, even though she's grateful to Daenerys. And this is why this scene was amazing as well. Like you see like a connection build between the two characters. And this is why I really like Sansa.
Straight off.
Yeah, because Sansa actually has a good point in this scene.
Yeah.
Where like she's like, well, the North isn't gonna bow to a leader. Like I'm grateful for your help, but we've had so much shit done to us now. We're not bowing again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really like that scene. I liked the Daenerys putting her hand back as soon as she said it, just to really pull away from the moment they just had from each other. I really like that scene a lot.
Yeah. And then so basically Spanner gets definitely thrown in the works between them two. They both do not look happy with each other at all. Someone comes in, I don't even know who that guy is that came in, and he was basically just like, we've got a problem at the door. You want to go out and answer it. They basically both go to the door, and it is Theon Greyjoy. He's out there to say he wants to fight for Winterfell. Now Sansa over the moon, Daenerys not very. Daenerys is basically says, where's your sister? She's like she's only got a few boats. She's going to take there you go, the Iron Islands in your name. Daenerys is like, okay, cool. Sansa really happy to see him, gives him a hug. What's the history between them two?
So obviously Theon betrayed the family, and then when he got captured by Ramsay, obviously Ramsay tortured him and turned him into Reek.
Yeah.
And then Sansa got married to Ramsay, and obviously he mistreated her. Ramsay was like looking out for her and stuff, and then in the end he helped her escape. He took her out of the castle. They jumped from the castle walls, and then they ran. And then just so that way she could get away, he ran a different direction to throw the dogs and the horses off so she could escape.
Okay, fair dues.
So basically, the only reason she managed to escape Ramsay, and generally it's probably the only reason she's alive. Otherwise, Ramsay would have probably killed her at the Battle of the Bastards. He would have used her as leverage versus Snow. Was because Theon helped her escape. So obviously, to her, like she's incredibly grateful to him because that was probably that was the Joffrey situation all over again, and he actually helped her break free of it.
Okay, cool. Then it goes over to a scene of Davos feeding some people, and a child comes over to him, and basically she says that she wants to fight. And then there's not really much to this scene, but then he's basically like, okay, a girl comes over and B's like, well, you can defend in the crypt. And then she's like, okay, then I'll do that. Not really much to that scene. Then Snow sees his boys return. Snow.
Oh man, that scene was pretty cool as well.
Yeah. So I don't know all the names of these. So do you want to explain this scene or?
This scene. So this scene, obviously, he's just going to greet the remainders of the men of the Night's Watch, and obviously because the wall was attacked with Tormund and the rest of the Night's Watch on the wall, they all believed that they was dead. So then obviously Snow goes to reunite. I actually don't know the main guys in Black's name. He's not really shown as much, but he was one of the characters that was one of Snow's only friends at the Night's Watch. Him and a couple others. So, and he's obviously the only survivor now. I thought it was really cool. He goes to run up to hug him. The only thing I didn't like is like, I think Snow and Tormund should have a bit more of a bond than they do. So obviously Tormund sees Snow as like I love the way Tormund looks at Snow, like he runs up, hugs him and stuff. Like he pretty much rugby tackles him when he sees him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. But like Snow just kind of dismisses him. He's like, "Yeah, get off of me, you ginger peasant."
Yeah,
and I'm just like, "What? Tormund's great."
Yeah, he is. I guess because Snow currently he's pretty much all business at the moment, isn't he? So he's very much focused. Is his name Tormund?
Well, yeah, Tormund, but like he goes like the thing is he dismisses that greeting and then goes to greet the other guy at the Night's Watch. And like obviously I understand they have a bond, but I don't know, like I say, Tormund and Snow have gone through quite a lot together as well. That's why I didn't quite like that he dismissed that greeting to just go greet someone else. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. It then fixates over to just some people getting ready for the defense sort of thing, and then it jumps over to a massive map in the room. Pretty much every single main character standing over this map, thinking of an idea. They're basically like, Brienne's doing a flank, right? That's
no, she's just holding their left flank. They're not flanking.
Okay, it's just okay. And then they basically, Snow says, you kill the Night King, they should all fall with the Night King. Everyone's like, well, the Night King ain't gonna show himself then. And then Bran jumps in saying he's definitely going to show himself because he wants me. Does the Night King have to kill Bran, or can anyone kill Bran?
So here's the thing. It's anyone could kill Bran and it wouldn't matter. I just believe the Night King is just something he personally wants to see too.
Okay. So he's definitely he's gonna go. So they basically say they're gonna go to the tree. It's the tree of Winterfell. They're basically going to. That's when they actually say the name of the tree, but I forgot what it's called. They say we'll put Bran in the tree. Interesting that they're not going to put their dragons on the actual battlefield. They're going to more use him as a protect. Go on, sorry.
So I think they explain the reasons why they're not using the dragons. I think they do say that they will use the dragons to just holding them back for a little bit, but I think they're also a bit nervous to use them because of what happened when they last used the dragons versus the Night King.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the way so you would assume that as soon as you see their army, their whole army is going to be spear wielding, ready for some dragons to show up.
I don't think their army has the potential for that.
I'm assuming it's just the Night King.
Specifically the Night King that has the talent and skills for something like that.
Yeah. But that Night King's prepping with that spear.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like I am really looking forward to the scene. I think the way they've set up the Bran scene with having Theon protect him with the rest of the Ironborn. The Ironborn's a really cool name, I'll say. The Ironborn's a really cool name for warriors as shit as them.
Yeah.
I will say that. The Ironborn sounds like what the Night's Watch would sound like if it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's prepping a really cool scene where I think what will happen is because the Night King will probably have like a force that attacks where Bran is in that like garden that he's sitting in.
Yeah.
And then like you'll have like a fight scene between the Night King's forces and the Ironborn trying to defend Bran. I think there's a real good chance that we see Theon die around there.
Yeah.
And then they'll hold back the Night King's army, and then he'll just go in there to do it himself. And then that's when I think we might see like a Snow versus Night King fight or something like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, see, I honestly... here's the thing that I don't see because the Night King's currently riding in the... Is he riding the dragon at the moment? Last time you see him, he took down the wall with the he took down the wall riding the dragon, and then you haven't seen him since, have you? You've just seen the marching.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe he's riding the dragon. I honestly think the way I think it might go down is he shows up with the dragon. Daenerys and Snow both show up riding a dragon, and you get a bit of a dragon fight sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Maybe,
and that's where I think maybe all the dragons might fall, and it goes from there.
Yeah, I definitely don't think there'll be a single dragon surviving by the end of this episode.
Yeah. Basically, we'll go back to the map. So they're all basically discussing that they're going to put Bran in that tree area. They're going to defend certain points. With that, everyone gets dismissed. Daenerys kind of looks at Snow for a bit of comfort, I guess. And then Snow Snow just goes, "Your Grace," and literally walks as quick as he can away.
He's throwing the cold shoulder, you know what I mean? He's trying to bide his time. He doesn't know how to handle the situation yet.
And Daenerys, that pretty much hit Daenerys quite solidly. She looked pretty upset then, especially because she just told Sansa she basically loves Snow, and now it's like, what have I? She's in that situation, and it's like, what have I done wrong, sort of thing. And she's a bit took back from it. She just walks off. She ain't gonna show anyone that she's like upset. Tyrion is basically left in the room with Bran. That's
a cool scene. I wish we actually.
I wish we got to experience that whole scene. You literally know they're gonna have like a proper like nice really conversation, and like as soon as I seen that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be an experience. And then they kind of just dismiss it. He sits down next to him, and that ends. So it was kind of like, oh, that's pretty unlucky. I understand, like, you know, they could have done just 10 minutes of them having a conversation, you know what I mean, and just Tyrion being able to like 5 minutes, like Tyrion just being able to understand, like, and it would have been really cool for like both characters. I can't remember the two characters that come up after this, but nothing important really happens. They have a conversation, they have a kiss, and then he goes to battle. It's one of the soldiers, but I can't remember his name. And the girl.
You're on about the Unsullied?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He basically, just says, you know, he fights for his queen, he honors his queen, and he basically goes off.
It's a cool scene because what I think is like prepping to happen is it's gonna end up being Daenerys left on her own, right? So we have this situation right now where we both believe that the dragons will be dead by the end of this episode, or by the end of the next episode.
Yeah.
And then obviously she's just now found out that her and Snow are related and that he has a claim to the throne. Mm-hmm. So whether she sees Snow as an enemy or not, she also knows the North isn't going to bow to her anymore. Her dragon, like I said, her dragons will be dead. Her Unsullied are most likely going to be going elsewhere but when they're fully finished taking the Iron Throne, even if she gets it, the Unsullied are going to be going elsewhere with her best friend. You know what I mean? Like, it's really paving a way where Daenerys has probably got to be feeling like there's not going to be a lot left at this point. You know what I mean? Not a lot left to be fighting for and stuff. And it's interesting to see how the situation between Daenerys and Snow will pan out, because I think that will depend on how Daenerys reacts, whether she'll still be the character that we kind of consider not the good guy but the favorite for the throne. To whether she falls to like the Cersei level when no one really wants her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He basically says he's got to go to war. Then it goes over to Snow and Sam on top. Where are they? They're like
just on the wall, basically.
Yeah. Watching over. This is quite a comedic part of the episode. I thought it was actually brilliant.
Sam's pretty much just fishing for Jon that he's gonna do it, and it's just not panning out for him.
Yeah, so Sam's just like, how have you told it? He's basically just like, it's kind of like, you know, when a dude tells his like best friend that he's going to propose to his missus or something like that, right? But it's completely the opposite. Like, it's a dramatic, like, he's like, so have you told her like you're related, and you know, you have the right to the throne and all that. And then I can't remember the dude that comes up the stairs and speaks to them.
It's a good friend of theirs. Like I say, it's one of the last Night's Watchmen.
Yeah, and they basically do state that it is basically just them left. And then Sam's like, you need me out there, and they're like, we really don't need you out there. He's like, I think you forgot that I was actually one of the first people to kill the White Walkers. And I can't remember what the guy says, but it is.
They basically just say like, it's a sad day. It's a sad day when we rely on it, when we need Sam to go to Harley, in battle with us and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he's like, we're basically fucked. It's just.
That is pretty much what it is,
and it's awesome. Even Snow cracks a smile at that, and he laughs. I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty good scene. Yeah. Then we jump over to Tyrion and Jaime again.
This scene actually became my favorite scene in the entire episode.
More and more characters kept coming in, and it was just like, like honestly, I was hoping for even more characters, and like in the end, you just had basically the entire like maybe everyone, but like Arya and maybe like even like it would have been sick.
The reason I like it is right, like you have the main characters, but you don't have like the main characters, right? Like, you don't have Snow, Jon.
It's like it's kind of like everyone's side character, but they're still very important characters.
Like main characters, but not like Sansa, not Arya, not Daenerys, not Snow.
Yeah,
you just got like these. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really like that scene.
Yeah. So they basically all drink, and then pretty honorable. They basically have a bit of a laugh. Pretty honorable that Jaime puts Knights Brienne. Quite a touching moment. They all clap, support her. It's really nice moment.
Tormund,
he kills me. He kills me. Literally, he stalks Brienne through the whole of this episode. Literally, and it's hilarious because
when he's telling me a story about the giant's milk as well.
Yeah, it's like he does things that he thinks will like attract her, but it doesn't,
it's like, and it's everyone.
It's so funny. Like when they're like, "Do you want a drink?" and he's like, "Got my own," and then he just chugs the whole thing in front of, and it's going down his chest and everything,
and everyone's just looking at him like, what the fuck?
and then he talks about the giants and he just, it's like everything he talks about just makes people cringe, and it is absolutely perfect to the scene. After that, you get the Hound and Arya. They have a drink together.
This scene was pretty kind of crappy, to be honest. Kind of good, but kind of crappy. Like I expected it to go like that, but it was like,
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. Like I expected the Hound to be alone, and I expected a scene where you would probably see him alone, sort of thing, and then you come over to him and say something. This is literally how I expected the scene to go. I honestly didn't expect the other guy to come into it, but I expected Arya and him to have a conversation and then to just be like, you know what, I'm going, you kind of fucking bore me, sort of thing. And then he would just like kind of like let her leave. She then goes to the blacksmith and gets her weapon made, and it's just a spear. It's just a spear.
I think it's a two-headed spear, and there's also a chance I think it's a two-headed spear. I'm not sure, but it's either a two-headed spear or it's a one-headed spear where the spear will probably shoot out of it. Or the actual arrowhead or the point or the head of the spear will probably repel out.
It's got to be something, right? Because the blueprints definitely look like something shooting out, right? I'm 100% on that. Like when he gave it, I was just like, it's literally just. It is the head that she was using to throw at the wall, strapped to a long stick. That's literally what it looked like. It didn't look anything amazing. I was just like, okay. You
haven't really seen it yet, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She then kind of like basically says, you know, kind of how many women you've been with.
They basically just bang.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, in short, they basically just smash, and then that's it. Then it jumps over back to Tyrion and everyone looking at the fire. We get a nice song. Yeah, we get a nice song, and I knew something along the lines of this was coming. They done it in Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and. Like in here, same kind of atmosphere. It really puts you in that kind of mindset of, you know, tomorrow could be the last day of their lives, sort of thing. And
just try to live in the moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they really put that across, and it's quite cool. It's quite cool. And then after the song, you have Sam talk to, I forgot his name again. The guy who spoke to Daenerys earlier.
Jorah.
Yeah. Sam basically.
That was a really cool scene. Nah, like not even Sam talking to him. I mean, Jorah talking to his cousin. Don't know what her name is. We don't see her enough. but she's a really great character.
Yeah, the young girl.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
fucking badass.
I kind of like skipped over that, but yeah, like he was basically saying go in the crypt, and she was like, "No, I fight for my people."
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Shows really strong leadership. I didn't even know they were related at all. So that kind of, I was just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Sam comes over to him and says, "Will you wield the sword of my families?" And he basically says, "Yeah, I will, with honor." Quite a cool scene between them two.
I don't care for that one too much.
Yeah, it was esque. Then you have, everyone kind of getting ready for a battle here, really, isn't it? It's like everyone running ready for battle, and then well, I guess they're kind of just like prepping still. And then you get Daenerys stroll through the crypt, and Snow is there, looking at the person who is in fact his mother. Daenerys comes over, asks who she is. She explains, my dad, not a dad, it's a brother, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a brother.
Yeah, they used to say my brother was such a great guy, and I'm so kind of like mind blown that he in fact like raped her. And he was like, no, they didn't. Yeah, they were married in secret. He said Bran told him.
Yeah, Bran told him, and then Sam confirmed it.
Did Bran actually tell him?
Yeah, Bran. Well,
Sam just told him, right?
No. Well, Bran told Sam, and then Sam told him. But like he's rallying the point that Bran actually found it out. Basically just told him.
Yeah.
And then Sam confirmed it with the diaries. That's what Sam tells him anyway. Basically, when Sam's explaining it, he says that Bran tells him all of this. And then when Snow doesn't really believe it, he says, "And I confirmed it with this diary." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's a really cool scene because what's really interesting is Snow never once says to Daenerys when she says like, "So you have a claim to the throne" and stuff like that. He never says he doesn't want it though. And it's like I understand that the scene, like it's one of these, right? Do you think that he would have said it eventually if the scene had been able to play out for as long as it could have without like being interrupted? Because he had opportunities to just say it during the scene.
He even paused when she said it. So the thing is, right? So he's basically like, right, I'm a Targaryen, and I honestly thought, right, I love Daenerys and I like the actor. I thought her response to it was kind of crap. She literally just kind of gasped. She was like, oh, no, and it was like.
Wait, what, dude? I thought it was a fine reaction. Like as he was like telling the story, you could see her face like dropping slowly and slowly. I thought it was great.
Nah, like I don't know. It felt a bit weak for me, but I kind of don't know what reaction I wanted from her. But yeah, she basically denied it. He was like, "No, it's true. I know it's true." Explains, that he told that Bran and Sam told him. Daenerys is like, basically, you have a right to the throne. Snow pauses, doesn't really say much. Then like he kind of like looks away and then looks back at her to basically kind of be like, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
she then looks quite scared, and then you hear the horn go off. Yeah, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, so he actually doesn't look away, he just generally looks quite dead straight at her, but she looks very intimidated. And he doesn't look at all like he's backing down, sort of thing.
This is what I mean, right? Like her entire world now is just like she's came all the way over here to fight this battle.
Yeah, and she's found out that she's
basically found out she's been banging her nephew. He's got the real claim to the Iron Throne. All the work she's put in getting up to this point could have been for nothing. And that's what I mean, where like it's easy if you're a Snow, right? It's easy to see what kind of position that's gonna put her in. You know what I mean? Like how she's gonna feel about that. And that's why I don't understand why, like he didn't just say, like he had opportunities to say, but I don't care about the throne.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like he could have, like he obviously didn't care about being the king of the North, otherwise he wouldn't have relinquished it.
Yeah.
And every opportunity has got to be like a leadership position.
He said he didn't want it.
Yeah, I mean, like he's been great at it, but at the same time, like yeah, he's always been like, this isn't what my priority is. You know what I mean? I just want to do the right thing. And throughout the entire build up, right, to the previous season, I've like Snow finally like kind of seen Daenerys for how she is. He obviously believes in her, and that he obviously believes that she's the right choice. So I don't understand why throughout he doesn't just say, I don't care about the throne though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's
you've got to think only they know. Like Sam, Bran, him, and Daenerys are the only ones that know. They could keep it a secret.
yeah. The thing is, that could have honestly, it could have went three ways, right? It could have went Snow does what he done, right? What he done there, where he didn't say a thing, right? He could have went, no, we rule together, right? Maybe, you know, put a kind of more on an even playing field with him, or he could have just went, I don't want the fucking throne.
See, I don't think he would have ever said that we rule together though, because it's not even how they do things, is it?
No, but then you add the people talking last episode about them two ruling together.
No, well, marriage, but you still have one, because one person's king, one person's queen, and then like it's essentially the same thing. Obviously, queen still has a lot of power, but the king sees everything. You know what I mean? The queen's just, you wouldn't fuck with her.
Yeah.
But then, like in this situation, let's say that like they got married and she took the Iron Throne, it would be she has all the power. You just wouldn't fuck with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting and kind of weird. I understand why like whoever wrote it out did it in that way.
Yeah, it's because and you have to wait now to find out.
Because it's like next episode, now you've got to beg the question: if Snow is in dire need, is she gonna help him? You know what I mean? Like, like you can guarantee that if she needs help, Snow's going to save her. But if Snow needs help, is there going to be that slight chance she's thinking, you know what, if I leave him for dead? Understandably, I reckon she'll make the right move and save him. Yeah, but I honestly think there will be a hesitation, and I think they will put that across. And I think that if her and Snow do survive the next episode, I think that's gonna what might play into like after the war, after the battle, that might play into it.
I'll tell you what would be a really interesting like kind of, you know, set of events would be like if this situation pans out, Daenerys leaves Snow to die. Snow does die. So now we've got like either it's a choice between Cersei or Daenerys on the throne. Yeah, I can't imagine Daenerys being a fan favorite character after that scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I imagine Sansa finds out somehow, and then Sansa ends up on the Iron Throne. Like they end up like with a war, and the North ends up winning. Like I say, I think it would be an interesting thing. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a theory I believe, but it would be a very interesting way to like. It'd be something no one expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? I'll add to that as well. Then right, this is how. Another interesting way. So same thing as what you said. Daenerys leaves Snow to die. He dies. She then goes to war against Cersei. She beats Cersei. I think then Sansa just dies in the war. Arya then assassinates Daenerys.
And they have like no leader, or do you reckon Arya takes the throne?
Then yeah, maybe Arya just takes it. There's like
I say, it would. Yeah. It would be a very interesting turn of events, and I don't even think I'd be as opposed to it. I'd
love that. I wouldn't even mind. Yeah,
like I say, it's not exactly the ending I would want, but it would be an ending that would be satisfying to me because it would surprise me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like so a fair few people could get this throne at the very end, and I actually wouldn't mind. Tyrion got it, wouldn't mind. Jaime, I don't really.
I don't think Jaime's actually ever allowed to.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I don't really care if Jaime. Daenerys, I wouldn't mind. Snow, I wouldn't mind. Sansa, I think it'd be interesting, and they'd have to end it kind of cool for me to be like, wow, Sansa's actually like the final. Arya, I'd love. Like, I'd actually love it if Arya got it. I don't think
Arya's leadership material, and I don't even think she would want the Iron Throne.
No, but I think it'd be really interesting if like she did. Imagine like some turn of events happened and Sam got it at the end.
That would blow my mind. Like I think that'd be funny though. I wouldn't really like that. It would just be funny.
I would love that. Oh, that would be amazing. That would literally.
That'd be funny.
Or like literally like the very end. You just have like final episode, final scene. The Hound just sits on the throne. Like people coming towards him, and he's just telling them all to F off. I'd love that.
It would be funny. It wouldn't be the ending I want, but it would be a funny ending.
Yeah, we'll jump back because there's not really much else to go on, but the horn goes off. Snow and Daenerys come outside. They look into the distance. It pans. You see a horse's foot, and we've got all the White Walkers on horses, basically looking at Winterfell. That's an interesting start. Do you reckon it's going to start with
I reckon just straight into the action.
You reckon? Well, apparently this is going to be the longest battle in history, so I think pretty much most this episode is going to be fighting.
Yeah, I agree. I think. Yep.
I honestly think I don't know how it's going to start. I assume they're just. I would really so. I think they're going to go with a more atmospheric start with, like kind of the ice melting sort of thing. You know how you had the ice melt when Snow was on the center of the thing and all the White Walkers were around him, and then they checked the ice and it was rock solid, so they could finally walk across.
I think it would just start in the I think it would just outright just start.
I reckon you're gonna have pretty much a pan of every character's face responding to the White Walkers, and then you're gonna have the White Walkers start marching towards them, and it's gonna be shit, and then it's probably going to pan again to everyone's face, and you're going to see everyone's face change when they see how big their army is, and it's going to be shit, we're outnumbered, and everyone's going to start to think we're dead before the wars even happen, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, they already believe that, that's just throughout the entire episode. They was all just yeah, we're gonna fucking die. We're dead. This, that, the other. We're dead. And the only one who really had optimism was Tyrion, that you heard of. Yeah. I think yeah, the entire episode will be the battle. I think we'll have a large scale battle for 20 minutes, and then you'll have minor fights where I'm talking the White. So now you've got the Night King attacking Bran's the garden with Bran.
Yeah.
With all these with a kind of a small detachment he brings with him, and then we'll have individual skirmishes where you see more focused on single combat and stuff like that. Where because there's the Night King. But then you've obviously got the other walkers. I think he's got 3 more.
Yeah, he's got a few henchmen.
Yeah, I think you'll see people get into 1v1s with those, maybe make things a bit interesting. But I do think this episode will be the end of the White Walkers. Or what I'd be really interested is if the White Walkers actually won, killed everyone there, and now it's actually just the Lannister or Cersei's. It's not even the Lannister army; it's just Cersei and their mercenaries versus the White Walkers.
You know what? That would be a really cool, interesting spin if they killed every single person there, and then you just got to watch 2 episodes before you just watched the whole of Cersei's army just get slaughtered.
Yeah, it would really.
And it would be
it would be
my
surprising.
God.
Yeah.
I think that would be that would be a really interesting thing if they'd done it as now. What I would love.
Go on.
You know what? Do this right, and if you do this, I will respect the hell out of them. The next episode is every single person being slaughtered in front of you, and the very end it shows that that's what Bran's seen because of their strategy. And
he can't. He doesn't see the future. He sees the past.
Oh, okay. Maybe not.
And I wouldn't like that anyway.
I would love for you to kill off every single character. You don't like people dying because.
No, honestly, this is no. It's not that. I love people dying.
Yeah, but you like them to stay dead.
Nah, I had this conversation with Adil about this TV show called The Umbrella Academy, and we were both on sync on this. There was an episode where they had an entire episode of development, of character development, story development, secrets being unfolded, characters being killed, and then they go back in time and that episode just never happens. Yeah. And that kind of format to me feels like a wasted episode because it's done nothing to progress the story. Yeah,
but you get full shock value.
No, because you don't get shock value. You get shock value during that, but then at the end of it, you're just left with a crappy feeling because, bear in mind, you've got 6 episodes in total. We've already watched 2 of them, meaning we got 4 left. you've somehow got to tie up the Night King and the Iron Throne story in 4 more episodes. Bear in mind, one of those episodes we can imagine just being a full-scale battle. And then we've got, and then if you throw that into the mix of the idea of it's just a full episode where like, yeah, that's just didn't happen. It's just what could have happened. Now you've only got 3 episodes left to tie it up, and I don't know. That idea is just it's just not. To me, that's what leaves people with with an idea of that episode was crap. Besides anything, as in a cinematic purpose, it did nothing for the story.
I guess it depends who. I guess because that for you, like that's the case. For a lot of people, that would be like shock value. If you ever watched, did you watch Twilight?
Obviously, yeah. People hated that.
I didn't mind that. I thought that was awesome at the end. Where you just like you watch like everyone die and then
and then that fight didn't happen. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That was massively negatively reviewed. That specific scene.
Oh no, I actually didn't mind
the shock value. That's what I mean. Like everyone will get the shock value. It was the same with the Umbrella Academy. Like as I'm watching it, I'm giddy. I'm loving it. I'm like, oh my god, secrets being unfolded. This, that, the other. You're like sitting on the edge of your seat. It's a great episode, and then they throw that at the end, and it ruins the entire episode because of it. That's what I mean. Like because everything you've just watched was pointless. It's the equivalent of edging, but then not getting the climax.
Okay. And then did you so I've got another thing to that's basically the end of the episode there. Everyone seeing the White Walkers, well, Snow Daenerys anyway, seeing the White Walkers. There also is they've added apparently an extra 25 minutes I think to the next episode.
Yeah, and then the next one's increase in time as well.
Yeah, so the next
now, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure like this episode's supposed to actually be the longest episode through the whole series now. The next episode. That's what I heard. Wait, I think I've got a picture here. But I heard that basically the next episode's the longest episode of the entire series.
No, there was incremental. It was like each episode gets longer and longer.
Yeah, that was okay, so originally the first episode 54 minutes, second episode was 58 minutes. The episode before that was supposed to be an hour, then it was supposed to be 78 minutes, then 80 minutes, and then 80 minutes for the 6th and 5th episode. But the next episode's supposed to be 82 minutes long. So it's supposed to be the longest episode out of all of them.
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Longer, better.
I was about to say, which makes
whether or not I believe it.
Yeah, well, I was about to say this. So the resource I had for this is IGN. So take that with whatever. But that's apparently what's going to go down. I assume the only 20 minutes extra they've added is more battle. I don't think it's anything to.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm looking at like an updated one by 3 hours ago. This is 82 minutes. That would be fantastic. Like I say, and it hasn't took really time away from the other episodes. That'd be stellar. If that's actually legit, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they've added even more time to the battle. They're just going to show more people dying. 2
minutes. I can't imagine that's a full 82-minute battle sequence.
I'm pretty sure. So it's supposed to be the longest battle in television history. Longest. Which I'm pretty sure.
Is it cinematic or television? Because I know the Battle of the Five Armies, that fight goes on for a long time.
It's supposed to, yeah. So, okay. So the Lord of the Rings one's apparently 40 minutes, and apparently it's supposed to be around the same time as that, but it possibly could be longer. Don't know. But apparently it's supposed to be the longest battle like ever shown on TV screen, which is going to be extremely interesting if that is the case. But that's going to be really cool. Do you reckon the whole White Walker thing's going to be resolved? I reckon it's either going to be resolved or it's going to be pretty close to being resolved, sort of thing.
So, I think it will be resolved. I think it depends. It depends on what angle they want to do, right? Let's say we have the Army of Winterfell win, and I think it's resolved. If the Army of Winterfell lose, then it's obviously not resolved. And I think that the only reason I wouldn't like that is because Cersei and her army aren't actually equipped to fight the White Walkers in any means whatsoever. They don't have the weapons. They don't know what they're fighting against. You know what I mean? Yeah. They don't know anything. They would just lose, which is why I can't imagine the White Walkers winning here, because if they do, it would mean the next few episodes are probably going to be a little lame, especially if you try and use Cersei's army as like a pinnacle point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it would be kind of funny to just watch. That's what I mean.
Yeah, like that's what I mean.
Just watch them all be slaughtered.
But then the idea is that you know that no one can stop them now. So it's kind of like, even though you've got like fucking 3 episodes left, the idea is that like they can't be stopped now. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, there's 3 episodes left, and both the episode, well, the final 2 are 80 minutes long, but the 4th one is 78 minutes long. What are they going to throw in there if everyone dies this next episode? It's not going to happen.
Like, I have to imagine that they've resolved the Night King situation and the White Walkers in this episode. Possibly spanning over a little to the next one, but like I said, this is 82 minutes long. I can't imagine anything being left undealt with, at least in the battle regard. And then I imagine the next episode we might get a look at, like, mostly focusing on Cersei and what she's up to, just to tease us a little bit. So like maybe certain characters die in episode 3, right? And then we don't get to see any reactions or anything like that in episode 4. We don't get to see how they pick up the pieces or anything. Instead, we're just seeing Cersei march or doing whatever Cersei's doing right now. And then episode 5, we get the reactions from episode 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think something like that is a lot more likely. Where at least one of the episodes is dedicated to like resolving the Jon and Daenerys Targaryen situation, whether they both survive or not, and just dealing with like any drama that came up after the 3rd episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I kind of don't want the episode, and I honestly think it might, but I don't want the episode to end with the Night King getting to Bran at the end of the 3rd episode, and then the 4th episode is the Night King.
I can't imagine it does that. This 82 minutes, I can't imagine it does it. I have to imagine that there's a battle for like 30 minutes, something like that. We'd like seeing like a large scale battle, and then we're seeing the Night King in a detachment just go to Bran, like we said. Like I have to imagine it'll be something like that, and it will all be resolved. The final resolutions will be in that garden where like a main character, could be anyone, could be Arya, could be Jon, could be fucking Jaime, could even be goddamn Tyrion if he decides, like, ends up killing the Night King. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting who challenges the Night King in this battle or whatever happens from that point.
I do have like a strong suspicion that the main rivalry will be between Sansa, Daenerys, and Cersei. Because I do actually believe that.
Yeah.
I think Sansa's like developed as this idea of a really strong, powerful woman, the same as Daenerys and Cersei have over like their experiences.
Yeah, and they put that across as well.
I have to imagine them putting these 3 really powerful women against each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would actually be really good. Like I think it'd be very interesting to watch. As like each like I said, you said they've put it across. Each one of these women kind of pretty much hates the others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, right now we've seen Daenerys and Sansa not like hate each other, just disagree on how they want the North to be handled now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the hate could grow from, like I say, the situation of Jon dying, Daenerys not helping him, or maybe even Daenerys does it. We don't know, and it's cool to speculate. But I definitely think we'll end up with an idea of these 3 women going head to head.
Yeah. I think you kind of hit on the nail there. It's going to be interesting where Jon kind of stands after next episode.
Yeah.
To find out actually what is kind of going on, sort of thing, with him, or where a lot of people are going to stand. Honestly, I hope Jaime survives. I don't really want Jaime to die at this moment, because I'd be interested to see maybe if he's after the battle, what he does. Does he go back to Cersei? Or does he
I
now
don't think- I
join
can't imagine-
and
I can't
fight
imagine him
against
fighting
Cersei? Or does he just become a loner, you know what I mean? A wanderer to
Yeah.
be like, I'm not part of any war now, I just want to live
It
in
is hard to
peace, sort
say.
of thing.
I think any like I think we'll know that after this episode, because I think Jaime's still developing and as a character. Like I mean, like you say, like with Tyrion, right? When he says like he didn't know that she was like that, and Tyrion's like, you did, you just still loved her anyway.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of hard to see whether or not he will end up turning on Cersei, because he hasn't turned on her yet. He's just massively disagreed with her.
Yeah, I was about to say he honestly like disagreed, and he's just in his mind he's fighting for the right thing.
Yeah,
that's all he's doing in his mind. He hasn't like fallen out of love or anything. He's going to do the right thing, and then he might just return straight back and be the exact same person he wants to be.
Maybe she kills him on return though. That would be cool.
That's what I mean. It's like maybe he returns and he's like, I fought for them, now I'm here to defend you, and she's like, I don't want you, and kind of kills him. That would be a really interesting turn. I kind of wouldn't like that turn, but that would be still a pretty interesting turn.
Everything with Game of Thrones at this point, it's like I think there's a lot of things that I would like. I would like Jaime to live. I think Jaime's a great character, but I think the shock factor and the actual twist of it would make that a likable moment for me, where I'm just blown back by it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's so many characters that if they die, it's kind of like, oh, that's going to be so fucking sick when they die. And it's like, it's kind of like,
even though you don't want them to, but yeah.
It's the exact same as like Snow, Daenerys. It's like I've got like friends who are rooting for Daenerys at the throne, but it's like if she dies, you know, it's going to be pretty damn like, it's going to be one of them, oh my god, what happens now sort of thing. Like, if Daenerys dies, does Jon go for the throne on his own? What happens? You know what I mean? Like, or does he just go, forget it, don't really care about that situation? Or you know what I mean?
Had all the episodes right now. I'll be honest. Like the first 2 episodes are great. They are amazing build-up episodes. But God, I need to know. I need it. I need it. I cannot stand another full month until it's over. And we actually know, you know what I mean?
That's the scary thing. It's kind of like all the talking now is over. It's all business now. From this point on, all business.
Well, at least the next episode will be all business. At least. I think we still have some talk episodes. Yeah, there might be like another one or two talk episodes. I reckon the final 2 is going to be a mixture between like talking and maybe fighting sort of thing. But like it's scary now to think you kind of like, so you remember when on the last season when Daenerys like got to the island and it was like, oh my god, like it's all uphill from here now.
It's the exact same situation now. It's like everything, like next episode, you know, next like time we talk about this, we might be like, it all goes downhill from here, boys. We're all doomed. But like at the moment it only goes up from here. Maybe next week it all goes down from here, you know what I mean? Depending on who dies.
The trailer that they showed for episode 3 wasn't too like fucking stellar, I'll be honest. Like I think they just didn't want to show a lot, so there was a lot of like panning, a lot of really not seeing anything going on. So I think they were trying to keep a lot close to the vest. But I'm so excited for the next episode.
Did you watch the trailer for the next episode?
Yeah,
they didn't show much, did they? Like they didn't show much at all, but I kind of like the idea with the Snow and him being like, the Night King's here sort of thing. That was like, oh, okay. But that was obviously going to be said, you know what I mean? He's obviously there, you know what I mean? They shown you nothing at all. Like, I like the only thing that kind of got me goosebumps when Brienne was kind of like screaming, like, hold your position sort of thing. It's just like, you know, it's coming sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, we will end it here. So thank you for watching. If you did watch, we will see you next week in the exclusive Game of Thrones, and we also do another podcast over the weekend that normally gets uploaded Monday. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next chapter. Peace.
Bye.